Hello, you guys. How are you all? Thank you guys for being here. Good morning. Sorry about the late start. I could not get this stuff to load on my computer. It was just all like in the middle of loading and wouldn't go through. So I'm really sorry about that. But intro is too long. Listen, StreamYard does this new thing now, you guys, where it automatically plays the intro and it will play the little shorter one at the end. I decided last night, because I've been playing the shorter intro and I thought, you know what? No, we do live streams and I'm intro that I love. I love that intro just because a couple people don't like it. If they don't like it, it is what it is. I can understand if it's it to be a pre-recorded video and you hear like all the conversation with the chat and the long intro and stuff, that could be annoying, but it is what it is. I did put a little sticker on my thumbnail that said this was alive. If it's alive, you can just expect that. It is what it is, like I said. So anyways, good morning, you guys. Coffee and crumb, and I have not had any caffeine. I just opened my Red Bull, so I'm not totally with it yet. But yeah, I'm excited to be here and talk to you guys. I'm looking forward to showing you some of the things going on right now, but I'm just going to warn you, it's so disgusting. I can't get over it. That's why I titled it that, because last night Tess was sending me stuff and I had found a couple things and every time I'm mind blown by how disgusting and how sick people are. So just be prepared for that. But it's just it's the reality of the world we're living in. So it's important, I think, to talk about it and not just to focus on one case nonstop all the time. If it's a missing child or something, it's great their face is getting out there, but it doesn't need, for me, I just don't want to do that. On my channel, I want to cover many cases and many different things going on, and that's just how we're going to do things here. So, hey Deeds, hey Wolfie, hey Dead-Eye Danny, hey Preschool Granny, Dead-Eye Danny and Preschool Granny, hey Michelle, B Crumbs, Punksy, Hippie Chick, hey Teacup. All we do is offer Amy helpful, constructive criticism, and she never listens. Hey Tess, thank you, by the way, for sending me some really interesting things. Not awesome things, but hey Rexy, Neat Noodle, Goalie Goal. Let's see. Oh, really? The managing mod isn't a thing anymore? I didn't even know that. Hey, Riley. Brandy. Deet says, sorry if I missed the comment. I'm stuffing my face. Well, I'm going to be chugging my Red Bull. I did eat before this. So a lot of times when we're on in the mornings, I got to hurry up and get off because my stomach's growling and I'm starving. I feel like my stomach's touching my back. Today, that is not going to happen. Hey, Hippie Chick. I hope you are feeling okay and doing well. Hey, Christina. K-Braze, I feel like I haven't seen you for a bit. Good to see you guys, though. Sorry if I missed anyone. Hey, Grace, Music City Mom, thank you for being here. We're going to go ahead and get started. Hey, Claus, have you tried Celsius? No, I've seen it, but I haven't tried it yet. What's one that you recommend? Let me know a good one that you recommend, because I know that they're no sugar. I'm not a fan of sucralose, I will say, and that's probably what's in it, but I will drink it to be able to drink soda later or have the extra sugar. My dad, he's a chemist, but he majored in chemistry, but he has a minor in nutrition. And he told me that sucralose is actually changing people's DNA. And I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of it. Hey, it's not rocket science, dude. Hey, Bendy. All right, you guys. So we're going to jump right into it. I'm going to warn you, though, like I said, oh, my God, so many of these are just unbelievably sick. I can't get over it. I really can't. It's really shocking that you don't see more of these, because it's every day. It's every single day. A new story like all of these we're going to talk about goes out. And it's frustrating. So we're going to start here. Florida woman admits to making porn videos with 23-month-old son for online stranger. Get a good look at her face. Yes, ma'am, mom of the year here. What the hell? Like, Jen Soto ain't got nothing on this. I'm not excusing what she's done. Don't get me wrong, but damn, man, I cannot believe there are women like this out here that are, it's just sick. It's awful. B Crumbs, thank you so much for gifting a membership. We take it really hard on Jen Soto, which, in my opinion, I don't think it's wrong to look. I've told you guys that even if she didn't intend for what happened to happen, the impact outweighs her intentions. And I don't see anything wrong with pointing out or talking about that situation. I think it's important, as a matter of fact. So don't get me wrong by what I'm saying, but damn, man, there's a lot of women out here doing really awful things to their kids. And for an online stranger, you got to be shitting me. So a Florida woman has been charged with using her own toddler son to create child pornography for a stranger who sought it over the internet. Jenna Ann Hoffman, 21, has been charged with cruelty towards a child by directing or promoting sexual performance, lewd and lascivious molestation of a child under 12, possession of a child's sexual performance with intent to promote, and use of a two-way communication device to facilitate a felony and larceny. There was a typo. Hernando County investigators say she admitted producing the videos with her own child, but never received the payment she was promised. Deputies said they got a tip about child pornography from a popular social media platform on September 23rd. The tip included photos and videos of child sexual abuse, specifically a woman performing sex acts with a toddler. Deputies identified Hoffman as the woman in the material and went to speak with her. Deputies first spoke with a family member and showed them a still image from one of the videos. The family member immediately identified the child as Hoffman's 23-month-old son. The family member brought Hoffman out to speak with deputies, and she confirmed that she had created the videos for a stranger she met only, who said she met online. I think that's supposed to say, come on, Crime Online with the typos, who said they would pay for the content. She said she made the videos and sent them, but never received payment. Investigators obtained a search warrant and executed it at the home, where they found further evidence of the crime. Hoffman is being held at the Hernando County Detention Center without bond. If she is eventually granted bond, Law and Crime reported Hoffman will have to wear a GPS monitor. She is due in court again on October the 22nd. Here's the media release from the sheriff's office. So they say on 9/23, the Hernando County Sheriffs received information from the Hillsborough County Sheriffs regarding a child pornography tip indicating the suspect was residing in Hernando County. The tip from a popular social media platform contained photos and videos of child sexual abuse material. The digital files depicted a female performing sex acts with a toddler. The investigation revealed the suspect to be Jenna Ann Hoffman. She was born September 25th, 2003. Detectives responded to the residence, showed the still shot like we read. I'm not going to repeat what's in the article. I just wanted to show you the media release and to see if there was any other little details we may not have gotten. As a result of this tip, a child victim was rescued, and the suspect was in custody within less than 5 hours of beginning an investigation. Thank God. Thank God. And look here, I don't know. I just was hearing the other day about another person who was attracted to children who had been charged and released and charged and released. And I'm sick of it. I am so sick of it. Look, when are we going to learn that when we release these people, they do it again? And I don't know about her. I mean, probably so. If you're willing to do this at all, I don't give a shit who it's for. We've got some problems. You've got some problems. You would be floored at the amount of parents that do this. Their minds believe their children are safe with them while they make money in this way. Unbelievable. But it makes me think you have to have some sort of like attraction to children to do this in the first place. She should have to go to the beaches impacted by Helene and separate the debris from the sand and then return the sand to the beach using a pail the size you used to build a sandcastle. I hope she doesn't get bombed too. But you know what? She might. Hey, Ava. Unfortunately, these people are released all the time and they go on to do worse. Nothing but a thing. Adrian, good to see you guys. I wonder if it was one of the Predator Catcher YouTube channels. I don't know. I've watched those sometimes and I think it's interesting, but I think that could be really very dangerous. Can't imagine needing money that bad. I'd sell myself before them. Absolutely. Hello, OnlyFans is a thing. I don't know. I'm just saying there are so many other ways than having sex with your child and filming it to sell it online. Hey, Shraddha. Now, we are at no shortage, like the title says, of disgusting shit we're going to talk about today and disgusting people. However, they need to be exposed. They need to be talked about. I feel like even if 100 people are here, it has to be better than sitting around talking about the same stuff over and over. I think yeah. So let's continue because I want to, even if a small amount of people, my point is, see this, I still think that's better than nobody seeing it. So, okay. Forgive me this morning. I'm a little sassy. I'm going to try to tone it down. I ain't had my Red Bull yet. I've had like one drink. Hey, Angela. It is a different animal, but the point is, just Irish girl, she was selling these videos online. Now, instead of selling her child in a sexual manner, she could sell her own damn self in a sexual manner. That's my point. Let Amy out. These cases are important too. They are. And it's crazy how often, like if you check crime online every day or just every other day, you will see 20, 30 new ones. It's unbelievable like how often this shit happens. It really is. Don't you dare tone it down. Socket, good to see you, by the way. I think you are sassy every morning, Meg, and I'm here for it. That's funny. Well, I'm glad. And thank you for being here. Happy birthday month, Music City Mom. Okay, so pastor. Oh, yeah, we always talk about the teachers, the daycare workers, the preachers, the all the people that you're taught to trust and believe that they're there to help or whatever. These people had amongst them. So pastor describes himself as child molester before he's charged with sexually abusing daughter. An Oklahoma pastor was arrested last week for sexually abusing his daughter since she was a child. We're going to call him Maurice Bailey. B. Maurice Bailey, because I'm going to just completely mess up the first name. He's a pastor at St. Andrew Christian Church in Tulsa. He reportedly started sexually abusing his daughter when she was in the 6th grade. Local news reported that weeks after Bailey's adult daughter had a baby in 2021, Bailey came to her home, pushed her on the ground, and orally penetrated her. According to the news outlet, Bailey would go to his daughter's home and peer through her windows after the 2021 incident. At some point, Bailey allegedly sent text messages to his wife in which he described himself as a felon, child molester, rapist, and unfaithful husband and uncommitted father. I am a effing asshole, I think that's supposed to say, it's blacked out or, marked out, who should go straight to hell when I die, he wrote, according to the Roy's report. Additionally, Bailey was heard in an audio recording urging his daughter not to tell her husband because it would be a total catastrophe to the whole kingdom of God. The victim, identified as Harmony Oates, spoke publicly to local news about the allegations against her father. Let's go look at that instead of reading like Crime Online's interpretation of her speaking out. Let's see what she said. So, daughter speaking out after father, Tulsa pastor, charged with rape and incest. Not to mention, he self-identifies as a child molester. Can't trust anybody these days, you guys. You just can't, especially when it comes to the safety of your kids. You just can't. Come on now. I told y'all the internet was.
Hey guys, Jeremy here from
That's why I was late. So
Subaru. I've got Subi here with me. We're proud of the fact that our Underdogs TV show has helped numerous pets in this local market find their forever home. The Underdogs TV series is just one small part of our commitment to help shelter animals.
Oh, Christina, thank you. I appreciate that so much. Thank you. Oh, Wolfie, I love you. You're so sweet. I love you, Amy. Thank you.
Subaru Loves Pets is a pillar of the Subaru Love Promise.
We begin with a Tulsa pastor charged with raping his own daughter. And tonight she tells us coming forward is key to her recovery.
Pastor B.M. Bailey Sr. was a staple of the North Tulsa community, but now he's in the Tulsa County Jail, accused of numerous charges, including first-degree rape and incest. I'm Braden Bates. Harmony Oates is his daughter. She's trying to rebuild what she says was taken from her starting when she was just in the 6th grade. She was ready to share her story, sitting down with me, telling me her message to those living in the shadows.
I wonder if that's why he calls himself a child molester, because he started this when she was young. I know that was in the article, but it didn't click until I hear it again. Or are there other kids? And, these people that work at churches, they have access to lots of kids every Sunday. I've seen Sunday school teachers accused of this.
It feels like I'm not in the shadows anymore. Think of a 13-year-old girl confused about who her true love is because her dad is saying, I'm your boyfriend.
Pastor Bailey's position as a community leader was something that challenged Oates.
I knew how to set a boundary, but whenever he's your father and whenever he's a pastor and whenever he has this authority and he has a record, it's like, you say no, but what does your no mean?
She says she was alone, suffering in silence as her father inappropriately touched her.
He would pray over me at first, but he would do a lot of touching while he was praying.
She says the years of manipulating made her ask questions.
The thing is, whenever I was a kid, I separated my dad from who he was. I had to. That's the only way I survived. I would call him my best friend, only to hide the reality of what I was living.
She tells me she first told her husband, an older brother.
Oh my God, that is so sad. So she would describe him as, you see kids that have a relationship like that with their dad, like, my dad's my best friend. I don't know. It's just so sad that was just like a front put on, so she didn't have to face the truth of what was going on. And it just makes you think, though, about like Maddie, and many of you guys, we've talked about this a lot before. This stuff, people don't tell. They're ashamed, they're embarrassed, they feel gross, whatever. And they oftentimes don't tell what's going on with them.
Then had the difficult conversation with her mom. Now she's taking his alleged sexual abuse public.
Coming out of the darkness by speaking out makes you a survivor. That's what I would say.
She says she hopes others feel empowered to speak out. In her recovery, she's rediscovering God, separate from her father.
I'm learning on trusting God more, and I know He has me and He has every other victim.
Can you imagine like how this would mess up your perception of religion and spirituality?
I know that He has been guiding me through this whole journey, and I know He will comfort me like a father, even though my dad did not.
Pastor Bailey is charged with 2 counts of first-degree rape, incest, forcible sodomy, and first-degree burglary. Braden Bates, 2 News, Oklahoma.
This stuff hurts my heart too, K-Braze. I definitely understand. It's awful. Okay, so now we're going to talk about this. So this comes from People Magazine. This was one that, actually many of these Tess sent me, and I'm not actually sure because there was 1 or 2 that I had seen and saved myself. So, which I don't even think I know one that we both had that I'm not going to discuss, but thank you, Tess. I appreciate you so much. So this is from People, and it says, babysitter 13, accused of stabbing sister 7, after argument over flushing the toilet. 1 second, you guys, my phone is ringing. Okay. A 13-year-old girl in Taylor, Michigan is reportedly facing murder charges after allegedly stabbing her 7-year-old sister to death while babysitting. On Saturday, September 28th at 1 p.m. local time, the Taylor Police Department responded to reports of a possible stabbing. And then they have hyperlinks to local news outlets. Officers responded to the incident in the area of Telegraph and Nut, and the 7-year-old was taken to a local hospital where she later died from her injuries, per the Detroit News. Preliminary investigations indicate the victim's injuries were allegedly inflicted by her 13-year-old sister. Officers haven't released the identities of the family involved. Fox 2 Detroit is now facing murder charges in first-degree premeditated murder, felony murder, and first-degree child abuse, citing the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office. The prosecutor's office didn't immediately respond when contacted by People, but per Fox 2 Detroit, the girl's parents left the home at 11:15 in the morning, and the older sister was babysitting. Detective Zachary DiGiacomo said the argument stemmed from a note that was placed in the bathroom about flushing the toilet. He said the victim, who was reportedly stabbed multiple times with a butcher's knife and hunting knife, had over 10 stab wounds ranging from the abdomen to the head to the neck. All I can say is it's shocking and it's very tragic, the officer added. The detective didn't immediately respond to People's request for comments, but per the local news, the Wayne County prosecutor, Kim Worthy, said the 13-year-old won't be tried as an adult in the case and will be kept in the juvenile system due to her age. I feel like this is close to the line where she would be charged as an adult. Do y'all hear Rambo snoring? I'm sorry for that. It's like right near us, and it's probably loud. The state would have 7 years to diagnose, treat, and rehabilitate her until her mandatory release at 21. Hopefully then, she would not be a danger to others. While this is a difficult decision given these facts, it is the right thing to do in this case. And I want to know how you guys feel about that. Like, if you're charged as a juvenile, you will be released. There is absolutely no doubt that the facts in this case are horrific. It is beyond disturbing that the alleged person responsible for the stabbing death of her 7-year-old sister is 13 years old. The detective claimed the parents had told police the sisters had just had normal sibling arguments before now. Growing up as kids, you argue with your siblings all the time, but it doesn't lead to this. She was very calm and just showed no emotion. He also added of the older sister facing charges. The neighbor, Julie Pagodo, paid tribute to the victim, calling her the sweetest little girl. She said it was just a very tragic day for us. She used to walk up and down the street every day, riding her bike, stopping and talking to the neighbors. How awful, how scary. The parents, I mean, my God, they've lost both of their kids. This is just the worst. It's an awful situation. I'm really curious how you guys feel, though, about her being released at 21, because she will be. Make no mistake, regardless of the felony murder charge, of any of it, she will be released at 21 if she is charged as a juvenile. Hey, OCD. Good morning, everybody. Please pray for the people in Asheville, first timer. We are going to actually talk about that here in just a little bit. I wanted to show a video. Wolfie says it's bullshit. That scares me. When I think that there's someone capable of doing this to their sister over flushing the toilet, and that they're going to be released in 7 years, regardless if they improve, if they don't, no matter what happens, as long as they don't commit any other like serious crimes while they're locked up, I feel like if they did, they could potentially be charged as an adult at a later date for those crimes. There had to have been signs that the 13-year-old had something going on. Well, I know, but according to the parents, normal sibling arguments, and I think at 13, because kids are going into puberty and stuff like that. Oh my God, Rainbow, really? I am so sorry. Because kids are going into puberty. They're moody. They're, all the things. All right. We're going to move. This daggone dog. I love him so much, but can't have him snoring while we're talking about something so serious. I love puppy noises. It's heinous. It absolutely is. It always makes me think they have extremely abusive parents. Well, that some kids just have issues, though. Like, I don't know. I knew a guy that when fighting with his brother, stabbed him in the leg, and the brother had to have it amputated. I went to school with these two brothers, and one of them shot the other one, supposedly by accident, and killed him. I do not think she should be charged as a child. She will hurt someone again. Hey, Artemis Prime. MK, good to see you. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it, but I have mixed opinions about it too, Meg. I'll admit it, at 13, I was pretty mean to my siblings, but damn, I guess like so I had siblings that were pretty close in age, but we didn't live together. They were my dad's kids from a previous marriage before he even met my mom, and they were 2 and 4 years older than me. My brother moved in with us for a year, but other than that, we just spent summers together and holidays. We fought, yeah, but nothing like that. And at the end of the day, we had each other's backs a lot more than we fought. Now, my brother, he had serious issues. Actually, I'm going to be honest with you guys. Let's talk about something for a minute, because okay, so in the Sebastian Rogers case, we know that his dad was not giving him his medication. So when I was growing up, my brother, he had ADHD, and when he would come for the summers, my dad wouldn't give him his medication. Now, if he just came for a quick visit, he wouldn't take him off it because it's too much and back on. But my dad was highly against the drugs, and his ex-wife wouldn't listen. And look, I don't think I would give my kids those kind of drugs either. Sometimes, I can see if it's necessary, and I don't judge anyone who does, but also if you don't want to, I get it too. And I hear a lot of judgment about that. I don't think any other parents were involved. I don't dislike any of them in that particular case, but I hear a lot of people say like, that's so abusive of him. And I guess if it's like every 2 weeks, you're making him cycle on and off these meds, that's awful. It is what it is. I got to say it like it is. But also, I can understand people that don't want to. So my brother, like I was saying, he had serious issues with ADHD or maybe ADD. I don't know the difference, but I know that he was on those medications and he had behavioral issues, major ones, like even on the medication. But still, I could never imagine him doing something like that to me. And he's grown up to become a wonderful man who works for a kids charity. I mean, he, moved so far beyond all of that. But I can understand why some parents wouldn't want that. And, I've heard that talked about a lot, and I've wanted to make a comment, like give my opinion on it. And I have before previously, like here on my channel, but I mean, in other chats, like the other day at Joneson was talking about it. And I wanted to like, just bring it up that, hey, maybe like, I don't know, that's not the choice for all parents. Like I said, I'm not going to judge you if you do, but also I wouldn't give those kind of drugs to my kids either. Let's be clear. Some of those drugs are highly addictive and they have chemical structures that are almost identical to methamphetamine, some of them, you know what I mean? And that's just the truth. So I have strong feelings about childhood medication. I think that they are overprescribed, so it would take a lot to give them to my child. Withdrawal from Vyvanse is awful physically and mentally. I agree it's abusive all the way on or all the way off. I've been on ADHD meds for 30 years. I think maybe you could consider it abusive if it's like very quickly cycling on and off. But the reason that my dad would like not give it to him at our house, well, first of all, at all, and he has it, like I told you guys earlier, he's very educated when it comes to chemistry and nutrition, so he has a good idea of what these drugs are, right? Time you're not, you have this like super focus, and I think that's another thing. And I could see, and I've heard of other parents that will do that. They'll have their kids on these meds while they're in school so they can focus, and then they'll take them off. But I just want to share that because I think we have to offer a little grace when we're judging, number one, other parents for what they do with their kids, because we don't know, unless you're there. I just don't see how you can really have an opinion because you don't have all the facts. So like I said it the other day, what did I say? Like, you're giving your opinion without all the facts. That's just silly bullshit, because your opinion really it's irrelevant. A lot of people cycle kids on and off of it without issue. One of my fosters had a psychotic break on her meds. They said it was amphetamine induced. Artemis, I could believe that, because like I said, some of these medications have an almost identical structure to methamphetamine, chemical structure. That is crazy, but I do believe it, and I'm so sad. I hope that she got better. But amphetamines will cause psychotic breaks, especially because they make it harder to fall asleep. With lack of sleep, you're more prone to things like that. And let's say you're prone to having some sort of issue like that, but you don't, but maybe you're a little more sensitive. Well, this could push you into that. MK says, I stay away from all prescription drugs and over-the-counter crap. I have to be in a ton of pain to even take an ibuprofen, and I sure wouldn't give it to a kid. Not hating on anyone who does. It's just me. I totally get that, MK. That's kind of where I'm like, the way I'm just becoming with all medications and things like that. I think a lot of it is unnecessary, and I think it's always better to do like some sort of natural healing first. And now sometimes it is very necessary. And like I said, we can't tell parents what's best for their kids. We're not with their kids all day. But for me personally, that's pretty much the way that I believe as well. Meds are bad for your organs. Yes, they are. Your liver, your kidneys. Some meds might filter strictly through one or the other. But regardless, as an addict, I spent decades in withdrawal and fear of withdrawal. I just know how it is. I have not medicated my son. Very risky. It's the parent's choice, but they need to Agree. Think that maybe that's a typo at the end, but my God, little Irish girl, that fear of withdrawal is such a it's such a demon, isn't it? Also, medications affect each person differently. It works for some and not for others. I'm on ADHD meds and can fall asleep anytime. You can't judge without knowing all the facts, and that is so true. I have a friend who has taken it and sometimes will, and they have no problem sleeping or anything like that. Hey, Wicked West, I refuse to put my kids on any medication. We change diets and etc. Which, you know what? That's number one. Like, I wish more doctors would recommend that first. But you guys have to realize these doctors do get kickbacks for writing certain medications. Why do you think they have a little pad with a brand of medication at the top? Because they have deals with these particular pharmaceutical brands or medications, makers of medications, where that's what they're going to prescribe because they get kickbacks from it. That's why I think a lot of them don't do this, but I wish that they would first and foremost recommend a change of diet, because that can change so much. Even for like my little cousin, she has autism. She has severe autism though, and very low IQ. She's low functioning. She will never live alone. She wasn't able to finish even school. Her diet, changing her diet made a world of difference with her behavior and how she functions. She needs a very strict routine. I mean, her mom went through it with her getting lost at school when she was trying to put her in school. But diet is so big. And yeah, I wish that was recommended more and talked about more. Ooh, Nay says there's an all-natural supplement for focus. It has a ton of benefits called NAD. I started it a week ago and it works wonders. You should send that to me, Nay. I'd like to see it, if you don't mind. We grew up with my dad always doing holistic stuff for us. I believe that my child's struggle in school and starting to feel bad himself was worth getting him tested and putting him on ADHD meds. He said a week later, he was the first one done. Well, see, that's the thing. It does work for some and not for others, and that's okay. But we have to stop thinking that we know everything about everything, and especially other people and their kids and what they do. Just because I had mentioned Sebastian's case, like, you have people that sit around and judge these parents all day, every day on both sides. And on all sides, I find it wrong. I do. We don't know. We don't walk in their shoes. Police have said they're cooperating, so it is wrong. Now, judging them on some of their behavior on social media, I think that's a little different. But regardless, we still shouldn't be judging and trying to insert our opinions of what happened in that home. We don't know. And the thing is, many of the people, if you pay attention, you know, a lot of the people who are judging really shouldn't be. All of us have things like that could be pointed out that we're not perfect, right? None of us are perfect. And if any of us were under a microscope like that, I am certain you could pick out many different things that you could make a big deal out of with anyone, including all the people judging, including me and everyone else. You know what I mean? If you look close enough, you're going to find little things that you can pick apart. That is unfair. Would you want it done to you? Some of these creators, I know they wouldn't want it done to them. And I truly think some of them don't even mean, I don't have bad intentions. You get caught up and you have your opinion and you have it so strong and you see this boy and you care about this boy, and I get it. I've been there. I totally get it. But we have to take a step back and, in those moments and really think about it. Mayla's mom says, my middle son has severe depression and medicine has saved his life. I'm sorry, but that's just the truth. Don't be sorry. That's the thing. Like, it's individual and whatever works. And especially, I always say this about like addicts in recovery who maybe want to get on anxiety medication or Suboxone, methadone, anything. If this medication is making a huge impact in your life in a positive way, if it's adding value and changing your life in a positive way, then maybe you have to consider trying it. It's individual and that might not work for someone else. If something is affecting your life in a negative way, like you stop caring about what you should, you start getting more depressed, you stop taking care of your responsibilities because you're over there drooling or whatever, then maybe you shouldn't. And it's just very personal. So, oh, Wicked West, I agree with that. I'm not a fan of big pharma. It's all about the money. You better believe they want you to be sick. Guarantee that. Now, like I said, medications can be lifesavers, but don't mistake that and think for 1 second that these people don't want us sick. They do. Because guess what? They get money. Are they going to get money if we're cured from whatever ailment we have? No. They get paid by you coming back to the doctor, by you having to fill this medication over and over again. It's like a Band-Aid. Instead of fixing the problem, putting a little Band-Aid on it. A Band-Aid that makes people really rich. There's a lot of money in these Band-Aids. Hey, Alana. Okay. Right, Anonymous. I've heard that before. Nope, our foods today are not clean at all, and that's a huge problem. And not to get off on a tangent, but that's why we're here in the mornings to hang out and talk and, and talk about what's going on in this world and give our opinions and hang out with each other. That's just what I want to do. So I'm okay with that. With the tangents and getting off on these little paths. Little Red says, I grew up with ADHD, but because I was diagnosed with anorexia in my teenage years, they would not prescribe meds. I had to learn to cope with therapy, but I bet you that made you incredibly strong now. You know what I mean? Having to learn, like fighting your way through it and becoming tough enough and strong enough to learn how to deal with it. Right, Wicked West. That's how I feel. Okay, you guys. Yes, there you go, Meg. No, that is so true. And that's something my dad and I have talked about as well, because he takes a ton of supplements. But look, just because it's natural doesn't mean it can't be dangerous, doesn't mean it can't be toxic, doesn't mean you can't overdose from it. And it certainly doesn't mean it can't affect your organs just like medication. It can. Anything your body has to filter and, work through like that, it obviously can. And some supplements can be incredibly dangerous. I've seen supplements that are for anxiety, like kava kava. They can cause liver failure. Look, supplements, okay, when it comes to makeup, skincare, supplements, and nutrition, and then THC, the chemistry of those things absolutely fascinates me. And I have spent hours and hours and hours reading about all of those things, the different chemistry in the marijuana plant and the cannabinoids that, and how they can benefit us and how they can hurt us, as well as with supplements and also makeup and skincare. That stuff is truly fascinating to me. So I could sit here and talk about this forever. Most true crime creators on here don't have any empathy. They're sociopaths just looking for something to exploit for cash. Oh, that's 100% true too. I wouldn't say most, but I would say a lot. And I would say that money is a huge part of why these people might, I don't know, do what they do. Hey, Trulia. All right, you guys, I'm going to skip to the bottom of the chat because I want to keep it pushing. I got a lot more I want to talk about. But thank you guys for joining the conversation. It means so much to me, and I appreciate it. I really do. Hey, Lady K. All right. Now, we're going to keep it pushing to something else happening. Oh my God. Again, like the title says, let me just reference back to the damn title. There is never a shortage of disgusting people and cases to talk about. Never, okay? There are so many perverted freaks out there and assholes and just, yeah. Okay, so Arizona man arrested on charges of voyeurism after hiding under women's cars. Absolutely disgusting, says victim. A man was arrested after allegedly crawling under several women's cars for his sexual gratification in Gilbert, Arizona in late August. Jesse Johnson, 28, was allegedly caught via camera surveillance at a Superstar car wash in Gilbert on Thursday, August 29th. Johnson, who has a previous history of sex crimes, was arrested on Tuesday, September 24th, and charged with 3 counts of voyeurism and 3 counts of disorderly conduct. He was arrested with a $10,000 bond and is expected in court on October 3rd. One of the alleged victims, who asked to be identified as Chanel, had stopped at the car wash before taking her son to school. While there, Johnson allegedly peeked his head out from the driver's side of Chanel's car per surveillance footage. He then returned to his car and allegedly pretended to be cleaning his tires. She told AZ Family that she likely would not have realized what was happening if another customer hadn't pointed him out. Johnson was allegedly seen doing this 2 more times that same day to 2 different women. Those are some talkative ass birds. I feel like I have to scream over them. I'm sorry, you guys. In these 3 incidents, the defendant pulled into a parking spot next to the victim. While each victim was vacuuming her vehicle, the defendant hid under her SUV and spent several minutes under her vehicle. The defendant climbed out from under the vehicle. Each victim was finishing her vacuuming and left the area. That is not okay. This is a place, to wash your car. You should feel safe. Chanel told AZ Family she felt very violated and has been having nightmares. Going into the community and doing this to women is absolutely disgusting, and I don't think he realizes what it's doing to us as the victim, she said. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe I was in that situation. I just had a baby 2 weeks prior to this. I have 2 other kids. It was a very scary situation, especially with my little boy with me when it happened. I guess this is just a really good reminder. Just make sure that you're always looking around, keeping your kids close, because you just never know what can be happening to you. Authorities in Arizona found Johnson had a criminal history and was arrested multiple times in Nebraska. According to court papers, he told law enforcement that he is sexually attracted to women's feet and could not control his sexual desires. He was also arrested in 2016, listen to this, Johnson was cited 4 different times in Nebraska for allegedly hiding under cars and grabbing people's ankles. Can you fucking imagine if somebody reached out from under your car and grabbed your ankle? Jesus Christ, I'm telling you, but I'm sorry, you'd get kicked straight in the teeth. Like, oh my God. Unbelievable. Hey, Anders. Can you freaking imagine? Those birds are loving life right now. Is that what I said? They are some talkative ass birds. In front of her son. Yeah. But what? You can't control your desires to look at people's feet to the point you're going to hide under their car and grab their damn ankles? Live in Paradise says, I just have to say that meds are absolutely overprescribed for kids, but my child cannot function in any situation without it. Her life was miserable for her before, so there is a place for them. Absolutely agree. Hey, Crafty Chris. Nootropics work fire, ADHD, and mid stabilization. So I take sometimes ashwagandha, which I think that would be considered that. And I've tried Phenoboot, which is like a cosmonaut. It's not really a supplement. It's not natural at all. It's a Russian created. It's Russian created drug for astronauts originally to keep them calm in space. But he had to be on drugs or thought he was being funny. That's just not normal. I think it was his attraction to feet. Riley, hey, Solo Angel Mom. He'd love my feet, 4 toes on each foot and webbed toes. He probably honestly would. If you're being serious, I think that, he probably would, because it'd be different, Pew pew toting mamas will take the harsh reaction. Yeah, it's some horror movie crap. It is. Literally my worst fear, Amanda said. Like what? Like getting off the bed, like when you're a little kid and you're scared and like you don't even want to put your leg out, and you certainly ain't sticking your foot down on the damn ground under where anything under that bed could grab it. I'm dead serious. They're cute AF. I bet they are. Yeah, that's what I bet you he would. Plus, like, just being unique, Riley says, I worked in a strip club with people that had serious foot fetishes, and it was never that serious. Steven Stearns is connected to the Telegram, is that what it is? App, and I bet that he is too. I still don't like my Wicked West. Ooh, adaptogenic mushrooms. Yeah. There's a lot, a lot now hitting the market as far as that goes with new research and stuff like that. I've seen a lot of it. Not to mention just psilocybin, the original, like what's in mushrooms, like that, of, like mushrooms that get people stoned or whatever, is known to work really great for ADHD, or for all ADHD, anxiety, depression, in really, really small doses, micro doses. It's on the bottom of the screen, Solo Angel Mom. The app owner is being held for allowing Stephen Stern type acts happen through the app. All right, let's keep it pushing because we got some more I want to talk to you about. Let's see. So, New Hampshire man beats grandmother to death with hammer. Wow. I mean, 23-year-old beating up on a 70-some-year-old grandma. A 23-year-old New Hampshire man was arrested Saturday for the beating death of his grandmother. Authorities said state troopers were called to a home in Easton just before noon and found 76-year-old Cynthia Lanchester dead on the ground with obvious blunt force trauma they said was caused by a hammer. Boston 25 reported. Troopers also found Joshua Lanchester on the scene and formally arrested him later that day. Let's go look at the actual local news who reported on this. Second-degree murder for recklessly causing the death of second degree? Oh my goodness. What? He's held without bail. Authorities are continuing to investigate what led up to this, and there's really not too much about it, but I don't know. I don't know about that. All right, so I want to read 2 more articles, and then we're going to get into a video. I want to show you, I just can't get over the devastation from this hurricane in places that really aren't even near the ocean. And, I'm in Eastern North Carolina on the coast. The water was high for one day because we live right on the water. My dock, it came up to the very bottom of the dock. And then the next day we were out there swimming. We didn't have a lot of trouble. I have friends in Florida that really didn't have a lot of trouble. And it's so sad seeing the devastation that this hurricane has had on other places like Western North Carolina, East Tennessee. So I do want to talk about that and show this video that talks about one of the people who's missing there. It must have been an argument that started a test, but I mean, for one, how absolutely vicious. I don't give a damn what my granny at 76 years old, thank God she's still with you, right? Like, you're so lucky, first of all. Second of all, grandmothers can be sassy as can be, and that is part of what makes them so damn precious. If you can hit them with a hammer at all, you obviously, I don't know, I would think you have some mental health issues. But why wouldn't it be a first-degree murder charge? Because even if it wasn't premeditated, it had to be premeditated by at least a very short period of time. Wow, Music City Mom, I was driving to Clarksville and GPS told me the trip may be impacted by a cyclone. We had tornado warnings. Actually, a tornado flattened a house like an hour away from me in Rocky Mount. Completely flattened it. And I hope your niece's game went good. Okay. See, Trulia, my grandmother was my best friend. You know, I was so close to my grandma, but she passed away when I was very little, like 7 years old. But we were close because I was almost 7. But my mom worked a lot, so my grandma watched me. She took me to my first day of school and, all that stuff. I'll never forget when she passed away because I was too little to understand it. And I would just sit there and look at her house and be like, she has to still be there, right? Like, I don't know. It just confused me a lot. And then my other grandma passed away like 10 years ago. And it was really sad to watch people deteriorate from Alzheimer's, which is what she had. So my granny was my whole heart, Cammie says. My mama's my whole heart. Whew, I love that woman with everything in me. And she is truly one of the most amazing people I've ever met in my life. Like, I just remember growing up, and they do it to my kids now, but my parents telling me when I was little, like, be honest, be kind, be considerate. Like, if somebody's doesn't have anybody sitting with them at lunch, go sit with them. And they would tell me that like every day, or at least every few days. Like, and they tell my kids that every day on the way to school. Mom tells me that, they go through all the things, be kind to each other, listen to your teacher, be honest, all of that stuff. She is. She's my girl, B Crumbs. All right. Sent the pic. Let's start my career, Alex. I'll check it out, Solo Angel Mom, after we get through these. NTs. Well, she's still I try to never let her, like my parents, they never carry groceries. There's a lot of things I try to do for them, but they still do a lot for me. You know what I mean? I don't know, but okay, let's keep it pushing because this is sad. Makes me sad. And my anxiety really messes with me. Like, there's not one day, I don't know if it's having dealt with a lot of death in my life, but there is not one day that I don't think about losing my parents, my kids, all the people I'm close to. It's literally every single day. So let's keep it pushing so I don't fall deeper into that. Okay, and thank you guys for sharing. I appreciate it, and it means a lot to me. You feel, like you can share that kind of stuff here. It really does. Speaking of grandmas, I haven't seen Grandma Sherry for a few days. I hope everything's okay. Yeah, grannies and Artemis, you never know what you're going to find here, especially on these coffee and crimes. We're just going through all kinds of shit that's going on. Okay. So, boyfriend stabs California mom to death in front of her 5 children. A California woman was stabbed to death Friday and her boyfriend arrested for murder after the woman's daughter called 911 to report the incident. Simi Valley police found 34-year-old Jessica Tinoco suffering from stab wounds to the face, chest, and abdomen. She was taken to Los Robles. Yeah, I'm not going to get that right. She was taken to a local hospital but did not survive. Officers arrested 34-year-old Ramon Rivas, who also lived at the home. He was charged with murder and violating probation because he was on a post-release supervision at the time. Police did not say what the charges were in that previous incident, but jail records show a previous arrest on gun charges. I have a hard time with some of these names. Like, I know you guys know that. Forgive me. Because, wait, hasn't felt well, but she's okay. She's been sick. Keep her in your prayers. Okay. I saw her yesterday. I was thinking about her last night. Oh, she will, Wicked West. She absolutely will. Roadless. Oh, okay. Yeah, I've definitely butcher some of these words and don't get the names, like some of these towns, and I don't get the names right. And look, I'm doing my best. I was raised in West Virginia in this little podunk high school that, honey, I'm telling you, they didn't give a damn if we learned or not. They did not care. They were not trying to teach. Like, my kid's school is like a million times better. I cannot get over it. The teachers will let us know if anything's going on, personal emails. It's a small school. They really try so hard to teach them and get them through. And I'm blessed that they're in a great school like that. That is not what I went to. So, and I'm hick as all get out. I understand that. And I'm doing my best. Okay. So Ramon was on post-release supervision at the time. Police didn't say what the charges were, but it was gun charges. We do know that. Excuse me. So a family member told KTLA that she was a mother of 5 and that all 5 of her children witnessed the stabbing. The family member said she and Rivas had been involved for about 2 years, but did not provide the ages of the children or say if Rivas was the father of any of them. He's being held on a $595,000 bond, but is not eligible for release without a hearing. They shouldn't have given him a bond at all. I'm sorry. I mean, it is right? Yeah, it is California. I questioned myself for a moment there. That's ridiculous. He should not have gotten a bond at all. Let's watch this video, though, actually. Oh, thank you, Sandra. I love you guys, too. When you're just too Southern, too country. Yeah, I love you guys, and I appreciate you. I'm just teasing. I mean, I'm just being... Okay, awesome, Cammie. Thank you. I'm just being, silly. Even though I'm being serious, but also I'm being silly. If that makes any sense at all. Probably not. Sorry about that. Welcome to my channel. Please subscribe if you haven't yet. Hey, B Crumbs, I'm going to do it for you. Also, if you're enjoying hanging out here this morning, please leave a like. Usually, I don't feel comfortable asking for likes. B Crumbs will always try to remind me, and I'm like, hey, I don't want to do it when we're talking about some of this really sensitive stuff. It just feels wrong. Cannot imagine asking for all kinds of other shit. I don't even want to ask for likes when we're talking about things like Madeline Soto and the horrific abuse she suffered for fucking years, or even these things. But yeah, just the moment happened, so I figured I would listen for once. Where grannies and flashers meet. Artemis. Thank you, guys. Oh, Trulia. Hey, Trulia, did you get your stuff yet? We get you, Amy. Thank you. Okay, let's watch this video. Quartz Crime Couch. Aw, thank you. I understand that, but you deserve... Well, it just feels really insensitive. You know what I mean? I don't remember without someone telling me. I know, but like to me, oh, thanks, Jay. I mean, it just simply doesn't feel right within me to do it. I know you guys wouldn't judge me, and I know you should. YouTube literally tells you to, actually. But I just don't. So it is what it is. Hey, Roxanne. It does help get the video. The likes do help get the video out to more people. That's true. I bet you're right, Trulia, about the hurricane. Okay, so I want to talk about that. So let's watch this video really quick, and then...
It says it got a call from Tinoco's daughter.
Ooh, I should have watched this video first because I would learn all the correct pronunciations of these words. Sometimes I'll learn from like the news, but honestly, sometimes they get it wrong too.
Tragic news tonight in Simi Valley. That's where a mother of 5 is brutally stabbed to death by her boyfriend.
And sadder still, her children witnessed that attack. Rachel Menitoff joining us live in Simi Valley tonight, where she spoke with some of those grieving family members. Rachel?
Rick, Karine, good evening to you both. This is a story that has touched so many people because they either know someone who has been the victim of domestic violence or they themselves have been victimized. Jessica Tinoco.
That is so true. Is October? Oh, I can't remember domestic violence month, but for some reason I'm thinking October. That's a good idea, S. Hockett, the poll. If anybody knows, let me know. That darn stubborn Amy. Wicked West, thank you. And I appreciate that. And sometimes we do a ton of research, a ton of digging, even, creating different little graphics or things to go with it, editing videos with the calls. When it comes to these lives, there's really not a lot that goes into it. I'll be honest. I mean, in the past, I used to just pull up and we'd flip through live. Now, I will go through, or sometimes people send me stuff, which either way, I always appreciate it so much. Tess sends me a lot. B Crumbs will send me a lot of you guys. Mayla's mom, neat. If you see a story that you're like, ooh, that interests you or whatever, you guys will say it, send it a story. That sounds insensitive, but you guys know what I mean. A news story that you're interested in is what I mean. And just doing a quick look over of what they all are, look like, what they entail or whatever is all it takes for these. They're really not too much that goes into this. Okay, let's listen. Some videos, some things, yes. These, not as for me. These lives here, they're not the most popular. These coffee and crime, just random cases, no major big cases. But I am so like, at this point, it's become my mission. I want to do this. Like, I want to stick with it. I want to always focus on what's going on in this world, whether it's a big story, a little story, an unknown story, and something that doesn't grab people's attention, something that does grab people's attention. Like, I just really want to talk about and try to just bring a little bit of extra awareness to a lot of these cases that no one knows about, because it's so sad to me how one or two will keep people's attention. I mean, thousands and thousands of people will sit around all day long and just talk about the drama between the parents of one missing child. We don't even know if a crime actually occurred. Factually, we don't know. And I don't care what your gut feeling is. True crime is not about gut feelings. It's about the facts. And like, I've just started noticing that a lot with that case becoming a lot of people very interested in it. So it has made me want to do this even more. And I don't think that there's it's anybody's fault. We can't help it. Like, sometimes you get interested in a case and, you need to know everything that's going on around it. And I understand that. I just want to still make a point to do these. That's all. Okay.
Was a loving mother and devoted her life to her kids. Unfortunately, there was no indication that she was in a dangerous situation until it was too late.
I love my baby's mom, and she was a good mom.
Wicked. Thank you.
She's always been there for my kids, She's always took care of my daughters.
She was such a beautiful person, so loving. Anyone she came across, she was willing to help them if they needed help. She always said how proud she was of me and how happy she was to see me grow up and how much she looked at me like a little sister.
The abundance of love and adoration felt for Jessica Tinoco in her short but impactful 34 years of life is evident when you talk to her cousins, her aunt, and her dearest friends. Motherhood was her passion, her creativity and spunk seen in and around her Simi Valley home, currently covered in Halloween decorations.
She loved her kids. She loved kids in general. All the friends' kids, all the cousins. Like, you'll find her at a party.
Oh my God, how absolutely sad. So October is Domestic Violence Month, Suicide Awareness Month, Domestic Violence Awareness, Suicide Awareness, and Breast Cancer Awareness. Which all of those things are really important to me and probably to many of you guys. Breast cancer has touched me very closely with my own mom. Suicide, I had a friend who took their own life a couple months ago, and all of us probably have been touched by that, unfortunately, about all these things. It's just the sad reality, and I'm so sorry for you guys who have, and I personally know a couple of you guys, some of my very dear friends who have been horrifically touched by suicide, and I'm so sorry. I'm not going to call you out, but just know I'm thinking about you.
We're all over here. She's in a jolly jumper with the kids. Like, she was a kid person.
Alicia Alonso grew up with Tinoco from elementary school on. She says her best girlfriend had been dating her boyfriend, Raymond Rivas, for about 9 months. They likely crossed paths during their high school years in Oxnard and reconnected years later. There were no obvious signs that she was in trouble.
I didn't know it was at this level. And that's the thing. You just never know what's going on behind a closed door.
On Friday night, everything changed. The Simi Valley Police Department says it got a call from Tinoco's daughter saying her mother was being stabbed by her live-in boyfriend. When authorities got to the family's home, they found a most brutal scene. Jessica stabbed in the face, neck, and abdomen in front of her young children.
And my heart goes out for my nieces and my nephew. They don't deserve this. They don't deserve, and no child deserves to go through something like this.
Jessica was a Tia herself. Her nephew, Nimaya, speaking through tears, says she made him feel seen.
Tia, that's aunt for Spanish. Or, yeah, you guys know it. I said that on.
Special.
She would always take us on occasions and stuff. She would always be happy to see me or anyone else. She was the best Tia.
Which my mom
was arrested here at the couple's home in Simi Valley.
Oh my gosh, let me watch that again because I was watching chat and I just realized, it's her nephew. I'm listening, but more watching chat.
Jessica was a Tia herself. Her nephew, Nimaya, speaking through tears, says she made him feel seen and special.
She would always take us on occasions and stuff. She would always be happy to see me or anyone else. She was the best Tia.
Oh, she was the best Tia. Oh my God. So sad.
Rivas was arrested here at the couple's home in Simi Valley soon after the attack. He's being held on suspicion of murder. We do want to remind anyone who might be in need of help or resources, you can always call the National Domestic Violence Hotline. We have the phone number on the bottom of the screen.
Oh my God, how absolutely sad. So I want to read your comment, Riley. I just was going to let the video play. Let me go back to it. I started actually. Oh, Shar, thank you for being a member for 38 months. I love you back. That's freaking crazy. Wow. 3 years and 2 months. Thank you. Okay, Riley says, I hate DV so much. My ex held me at gunpoint for a whole night one time, and I ran from the house and hid under a car so he couldn't find me. Still didn't leave him. And then I saw that you said it takes an average of 7 times. And I'm so glad that he's now your ex and you got out of that. And I'm so sorry that happened. A little rewound. I'm at the grandma combos. My gramita was a crazy little lady who would hit me with her cane to wake me up and say, "Pinche cabronia, wake up." I could never hurt a hair on her head. Oh, I love that. Would hit me with her cane to wake me up and say, "Pinche cabronia." How sweet. Yep, I'm just glad Riley got away and many of you guys. That was so scary. Okay, this is not something current happening. It's just someone speaking out currently. So let's take a look at this. Hey, Jude. Hey, Nature Rocks. Hey, everybody coming in. I had my own home and I still felt like I needed to walk a fine line to gain my safety and freedom from my abuser over years' time. Oh, did you, Jay? I missed it. Well, Kate, I'm just so glad that you got away. But that's crazy what it does to you mentally. Like, it's your house. You could be making the money and everything. But these people, these men that are like that, they oftentimes make a woman think, like, they take away a lot of her self-esteem. They make her think she's not capable of certain things. They talk down to her, and I'm just glad you guys got out of it. I cannot overstate how important it is to trust your gut instincts with safety. All right, let's take a look at this, and then I want to show you a video, and then I'm going to let you guys go. So, ex-wife of famous animal expert who sexually abused dogs in torture room speaks out. Content warning. This contains graphic details of animal abuse. The former wife and former business partner of a renowned British zoologist, now convicted of bestiality, is speaking out months after the man was sentenced. Adam Britton, 53, was sentenced in August in an Australian court to more than a decade behind bars after pleading guilty to 56 charges of bestiality and animal cruelty. He also admitted to 4 counts of accessing material depicting child abuse. What a freak. I mean, you're attracted to animals, to kids, to everything. My God. Now his ex-wife is speaking out about the horrors of learning about his crimes and the numerous questions that arose for her following his arrest in 2022. So she was on 60 Minutes Australia, which I watch that YouTube channel sometimes. And she was identified only by her first name, Erin. She said, I cannot comprehend still how somebody can be so depraved, so evil. He's just destroyed my life. In one part of the show, Erin is seen returning to her former home, where authorities believe he filmed the torture of the dogs. The home was raided in the early morning of April 22nd, 2022, per the show, when Erin was away on a work trip. Erin only learned about her then husband's crime when she spoke with his lawyer, who showed her screenshots of his abuse. When she told me bestiality, my brain was like, denial, no. And hearing that information is the most awful thing you could ever hear about your partner, she recalled. It was so shocking, and I felt sick. She mentioned on the show that at the time he was arrested, the couple had been living in separate rooms in their home, and they weren't involved romantically for years. His abuse spanned several decades while he worked with animals around the world, all while harboring sadistic sexual interest in those animals. Evidence generated during the investigation also revealed he had been sharing videos of his animal torture in online forums where he claimed he loved hurting dogs and that he began molesting horses at the age of 13. The known count of his victims is 39 dogs that he tortured to death. According to aforementioned court documents, he assessed the dogs by connecting online with people giving away their pets. He accessed, by connecting with people who were giving away their pets before taking custody of the pets and abusing them in a torture room he built. An investigator who spoke with the Australian show said they found several kinds of weapons that Britton used in his torture, including knives, tools, wooden objects, and saws. In a letter he allegedly wrote to Erin while awaiting his sentencing, Britton asked Erin to send books about dog domestication, she says in the show, sharing a glimpse of one of the letters. This messes with my head, she mentioned on the show. Really, really disturbing. Meanwhile, at his sentencing in August, he said he deeply regrets his actions. Pretty crazy that someone who devotes their whole life into working with animals is sexually attracted to them. Like, what the hell? Oh, Solo Angel Mom, I'm glad you're both free and together. That's awesome. Astro from Space says, I could never hit a woman nor let her make her own decisions, nor not let her, or not let her make her own decisions. Like, I got a mom and a sister. I never understood hitting a woman. It was known he did it at 13, but oh, wow. I mean, assaulting horses? What the fuck? My God. You know, a lot of inmates, gangsters, dealers, and general tough guys are known for having dogs. I bet they'll be very eager to get to this guy. Whoa, what's I wake up to? I'm sorry, Kimberly. Good morning, though, by the way. Good to see you. Oh, it's also Down Syndrome Month. Christina, thank you. She says, I'm one of the lucky few that has an amazing child with Down syndrome. I love that. I really, really love that. You know, I told you guys about my cousin earlier she's low functioning, and that's not from the autism. She also has an extremely low IQ. There's multiple things going on there, but I tell you what, like I've said this so many times and I truly believe it. She has added so much to all of our lives in my family. It's my first cousin, so my mom's brother's child. And I don't know, there's just something about knowing her that and being around her, and that just, it makes you see life in a different way. And she's just so special and so loving and so innocent. And yeah, I feel incredibly blessed to have her in my life. Animals and kids, I know. Riley, thank you for being a member for 7 months. Thinking about everyone who has been affected by DV. Hugs to you all. Thank you, Allie, for allowing this convo to happen on your platform. All right, so we're done with all the things, animals, kids, all of that. But look, this is the unfortunate truth, that this is what's going on in this world, period. It just is. And it's happening every day, more and more, day in and day out. If you look and start paying attention, like I said, just go check crime online every couple of days when you're sitting around having your coffee, bored, whatever, and you will be shocked at how many new stories you'll see about this kind of stuff. Truly shocked. So I wanted to watch this video that News Nation put out yesterday regarding Hurricane Helene. Oh, Solo's toes. We need those palette cleansers, yeah. Well, Solo Angel Mom sent us a picture of her. She wants me to show. Are you sure? I'll have to go get my phone because I don't have it with me. My dog is my best friend. Hey, Aunt Cray. Hey, Destined. Yes, that's right, Jen. Pedophiles take jobs that give them access to children, so it's not that surprising, but it is sad. That's true. Isn't it strange? Like, don't get me into conspiracies, but it is pretty crazy that, like, the PDF files, I don't know. Couldn't they have used, like, something else? I don't like that. I thought about that before, like a PDF file. I don't know. I bet you I do, Tess, actually. Let me see here, because I sent it to myself so that we could watch it and it wouldn't load. I can't get the picture that you sent me, Solo Angel Mom, right this minute because I don't have that email on this computer and, you know, the two-step verification if I even try, but I can get it in a minute. Here we go, Tess. Here's a little palette cleanser that Tess sent the other day for the same thing, the same reason, I mean.
I don't have any milk in my nipples. Really?
No, that's okay.
You're funny.
Why? I have actually got nipples.
I know.
What's a booby? A chest. I haven't got any milk. It's just the chest. What's she doing?
That is adorable. Probably not really what I should have played as a palette cleanser after the conversation we were having, now that I think about it. But regardless, that is adorable. I have got nipples, you know. Kids are the best. Oh my God. They're just so precious. I love that. That's pretty funny. And then the little accent makes it even better. Music City Mom says, we had a wedding in our backyard last night. My niece and my son-in-law's best friend got married. Oh, my hubby did the ceremony. That's precious. I love that, Music City Mom. Okay. Here is the video. Hold it.
Helene, I want to bring in hundreds of people.
I just can't get over this. I mean, it's shocking how much damage has been done to these places that aren't even by the ocean, just from the flooding, and lots of people missing, and young people. And it's the accent for me. I know, it's adorable. Okay. Let's take a look at this.
Are still unaccounted for in the aftermath of Hurricane Helene. I want to bring in Molly Ann Sheehan. She is from Asheville. She says her best friend has been missing since the storm hit. I also want to bring in Division Group Supervisor for FEMA, Scott Dean. He is also in Asheville, North Carolina right now.
More than 130 dead across 6 states, and a whole lot more missing. I think it's like 1,000. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. Or I know one of you guys know. I truly believe this and say it all the time. You guys like listening to me and want to hear from me, but the people in the chat are much more educated. They're so brilliant, so funny, and usually have all the information. Nobody knew it was coming is the worst part. They just thought it would be stormy. It's absolutely heartbreaking. All right, watch Wicked West. Watch this. This is it's so sad, and it's truly insane. It's astronomical.
Working on the recovery. But I'll start with you, Molly. Tell me about your friend Sammy. When is the last time you heard from Sammy? What's the latest on that front?
Yeah, so that's Sammy. Nobody has heard from them since about 10:20, 10:30 on.
And look, Sammy's not a baby or a very old person who, typically you might think would have trouble in flooding and stuff like this. This was so quick and so horrific that even young, very looks like at that age, that's the age when you're most physically fit. It's just shocking.
Friday morning. And there's them and so many other people. There's so many people looking for them. There's so many people looking for everybody. And
yes, they are. And I do notice that her pronouns, the friend is using, are they, them. So I just am trying to be respectful of that. So that's why I say, yes, they are. And I hope that you guys will also be respectful of that. I know not everyone agrees or likes the whole pronoun conversation. And that's really besides the point for me. It's respect. If somebody, what they want to be called, it's not going to hurt me to call it that, but it will call them that, but it may hurt them if we don't. You know what I mean? That's my stance with anything. Like I was listening. Let me just say for a second, the R word is offensive. No one is trying to police people's speech. I watched someone live the other day and they had said it and the whole chat was like, we don't watch what we say here. But here's my thing. If something you say is hurting someone and it's all it simply fucking takes is for you to alter your language a little bit. That's not a big deal. Why can't you do that if you're hurting someone else? How selfish do we have to be as a society? I mean, for me, I'm sorry. If anything that I say is like hurtful or offensive and I don't know it and you tell me, hey, that's offensive, that hurts me, then I'm going to really try not to do it. Not because it doesn't matter if I agree, I don't agree, whatever, but I simply feel that way just because I don't want to be hurting people for no reason. So I wish that people wouldn't think of it like, oh, people trying to police our speech, blah, blah, blah. No, it's not that. And nobody's trying to tell people what to say. It's just simply that it's hurtful to people, should never be used as an insult. And for that reason, we should watch how we say things. I mean, Words are important and they stick with someone. I've always said you can punch me in the face and I'll be healed in a week. You can say something to me and for years it could bother me. That's the truth. So just please, you guys, not to get on a tangent, but let's just try to be respectful of that, you know, and I would appreciate that so much. I really would.
On Friday morning, and there's them and so many other people. There's so many people looking for them. There's so many people looking for everybody. And there's no contact, you know, communications have started coming back. So we thought we might hear something, and we've searched everywhere, every avenue that we can, Facebook, other socials, private groups, public groups, everything, eyes on the ground.
Well, listen, hopefully, Molly, it's just the fact that there's no, I mean, you heard from the mayor, she was just able to get connectivity for the first time. I mean, the hope is that so many of these people, and there's hundreds of them, that they're missing, just don't have a way to communicate. What's the last that any from Sammy? I think I heard it was like in an Instagram video or post.
Yep, they posted on Instagram that picture. They were inside their apartment. We think that's probably about 8 a.m. And we know that at 10:30, they were still at their apartment on the second level, and the water was up to their second level deck.
My God.
I want to bring in. Can
you imagine that? And what do you do? And then the house falls in and you're stuck in debris. And then that's when you're going to get, you know, in a situation. No, Music City Mom. Now that's ridiculous. And people who really do suffer from dysphoria and feeling like in their body. That's just bullshit. You are not an animal. I'm not playing into that.
A little bit frustrated. We're days in now. Again, there's so many tweets of pictures of helicopters and planes, and the fact that there are still so many people missing, Scott, it's a bit disheartening.
Yeah, completely understand, and our hearts goes out to everybody, not only North Carolina, but all the states that are impacted. You know, I would tell you that this operation is huge. We're talking hundreds of miles, several states that were impacted. So we have the most elite search and rescue operators in the world operating in the states to make sure that we find everybody that is missing. So we are doing our best at this moment to try to find everybody.
I mean, you've been to a lot of disasters, Scott. Is there something particularly challenging about this situation? Because like I said, I mean, I've covered a lot of hurricanes, and it seems like all the resources are just ready to roll in right away the second that storm is gone. Whereas in this situation, it seems like there's been a lag.
I don't want to say it's a lag, but just understand it started in Florida and then it worked its way up. And now we're currently in North Carolina, South Carolina, Tennessee. All these states have been impacted.
Look at that.
So it starts at the local government with the fire and police, public safety going out there and doing quick searches of the community, and then it spreads out to mutual aid into the urban search and rescue from the state level to the federal level. So there's over about 900 search and rescue operators currently operating in North Carolina. We have 10 of the most elite task forces.
Now they're really getting into the recovery. I want to switch gears and click on this video. I just want to see more of the footage of
happening right now. Asheville, North Carolina is basically cut off from the rest of the country, largely without power, without cell service, and they're in desperate need for help after.
Teacup, I say wow because when I grew up, like in the 90s, those words were acceptable. So I understand how people might slip or something if they were in the habit of it. But for me, I mean, it's just never something that was in my vocabulary. Also, their name is Sammy, but I think that, we shouldn't really try to, I don't know their situation. And there could be many reasons why they are, a lot of people, even from being sexually abused, they start to become dysphoric over being womanly or having their, there's just a lot of reasons. And I don't know the reason. I don't really want to speculate. I just think I just try to be respectful of what people ask to be, how they ask to be referred to, But hello, Without Borders. Good to see you. Just wanted to say thanks for having coffee with me and keeping me company on a 16-hour road trip from the Midwest to the East Coast. Where are you going on the East Coast? Wow, the worst flooding in Asheville since 1791. That's crazy. I read a post this morning that the little towns are being ignored. I hope that's not true. Oh, I hope so too. And then, Claus, I'm so sorry to hear that. That's so scary. Trulia says there is another hurricane headed this way, and that is scary. Oh my God. Oh God. If it's on the same path, I don't know. I don't even have words. That's just scary to me. I'm scared to death of hurricanes anyway, living right on the water. But I live in the Sound, so it's part of where the ocean connects to the river, and we've had water all the way up in our houses a couple years ago, but nothing like that. But it still scares me, anywhere you're at. Look, you don't have to be by the water for a hurricane to completely devastate your world. Aspen says, by the way, thanks for not judging people on methadone. Thankfully, it's working for me. I was an addict for 12 years and I've been clean for, got a degree and a house. It has really changed my life. Most judge. No, Aspen, I am all about it. I don't care. Listen here. If at one point you were on the streets shooting heroin and smoking crack or whatever you're doing, right? If this medication is helping you live a productive, normal lifestyle, then that's awesome. I can't judge anybody. All we can do is try to be better. And the people who do judge don't know what it's like. Now, I've never been on methadone. I took it a couple days in rehab, and I remember like when I was using, occasionally I would see it on the street for sale, and I've tried it once like that. Or maybe I think I got some and I tried it for 2 days in a row from that same that I bought. Or I can't remember. It's been a long time, but I don't have a lot of experience with no experience with long-term methadone use. However, I have used Suboxone. I have used just the blocker that's in Suboxone. I've also been on just the buprenorphine that's in Suboxone. And honestly, I can't judge anybody, and I don't think anybody has a right to judge. They don't walk in your shoes. And like I said, medication isn't ideal, but if it's what it takes for you to live a better life, and that's more productive, and you can be with your family and it's just better for you, then really nobody else's opinion matters. You know what I mean? That's how I feel about that. Hey, Pinche Becky. Jim says, I took methadone 5 years. It saved my life. It kept me accountable. I slowly came off of it. I agree. If it improves your life. Wow, Teacup. I love that, though. That's actually really cool. I really think that's really cool. Suboxone has saved many lives. You're so right. So has, the blocker. Matter of fact, it's not very different from Narcan. It's just like a long-term thing that it doesn't just block, though. It does control cravings, and it's really cool. I think you guys, if you're in that situation or anything like that, look into it, because it's a great option, especially for after Suboxone, to go to that, or after just the buprenorphine. Yeah, Suboxone wasn't always around. That's true. Well, the first time I was prescribed it was 2008. Just a year after I graduated, or maybe 2007, because it was the summer after I graduated. Then I had went off to college and came off of it all, and had a little bit of time off of everything. And I went back and forth through. It's been a long journey, but it's been around for a while. But no, you're right. It hasn't always been around. So. Yeah, a lot going to the Sublocade injections. Yes, and moving off finally. That's really cool too. My fiance and I are both on subs. We own our home, and I just bought a nice ass Cadillac yesterday. It saved us. And while I'm not clean, I'm not out looking for stuff either. No bullshit. You are clean. Look, I won't say I'm sober. I say I'm in recovery because now, like, I take gummies and I smoke weed. It helps me a lot with my anxiety, and I'd rather do that than be on nerve pills. I spent years and years on benzos. So I can get saying that, but also you're in recovery, you're doing better, and words don't define. Like, I'm so sick of people using those words to define people and put people like at certain levels of where they're at in their recovery. Nobody knows but you, and nobody has a right to judge. That is very personal. And it really makes me mad when people do try to judge people who are just trying to do better. Thank God they're still not out in the streets using. Thank God they won't wake up tomorrow with them overdosed. So that's how I feel about that. All right, let's watch this one, and then I'm gonna let you guys go. I do want to see this though, because I didn't see it. I just saw it like like over here, and it made me want to watch it. Actually, let's go to local news. I think this would be better.
We continue our coverage now as the search continues in Western North Carolina as that death toll from Helene rises. We keep hearing people say the devastation is beyond belief, and despite all.
Forget, you guys. Okay, so when I just want to say something about the Suboxone thing. The first time I was ever on it, it was, like I said, like 2007. It was actually 2007 now that I think about it, not 2008, because I did it in 2007. I was on it for like a couple months, and October, because like at the you do 2 classes a month, and you can enroll at the beginning of any month. I'll never forget, I went up there with like 2 8-milligram pills and a couple Xanaxes, because I was prescribed at that time Xanaxes with my Suboxone. And I went up there and I slowly just stopped taking the Xanax. I didn't know anyone. I couldn't find anything. And really, I don't even think there were drugs like that in it. And I didn't sleep for like a month. It was pretty awful. And I bombed the first few classes I took. But after that, like, I felt really great. Then, I got pregnant while I was at that college, like at the end of that first school year in like April or May. And came home, and thank God, I think that was just like God or the universe working in my life, where I wasn't on anything when I got pregnant. I was able to have a healthy pregnancy. And it wasn't until after I delivered my son. But I'll be honest with you, after, like, I remember thinking, like, I can't wait to be not pregnant so I can get high, so I can take a pain pill, so I can take a Percocet or whatever, and a Roxy. And I struggled for years and years after that. It's been a long road, and I'm not going to judge anybody. I was back on Suboxone, in rehab a couple times, just all kinds of shit after that. But none of us have a right to judge somebody else and what works for them in their recovery.
As we know, going to take weeks, months, even years for those communities to recover. The storm now being blamed for at least 133 deaths, 49 of those here in North Carolina, and that number is expected to go up, with as many as 600 people still missing as of this morning. Some areas remain so isolated, the only way in and out is by air.
I've done
Others are strangled by long gas lines, shelters at capacity, and limited food and water.
President Biden expected to visit the area tomorrow. He'll attend a briefing at the State Emergency Operations Center before taking an aerial tour of Asheville. The president has promised his visit will not disrupt ongoing recovery efforts. He also says he plans to visit Georgia and Florida as soon as possible. Well, one man is being called a hero this morning after he risked his own life to save a woman from the floodwaters in Ashe County. Video shows the moments those raging waters carried away a home and the woman inside it. And that's when Eddie Hunnell, who happened to be in town for his
carried away a home and the woman inside of it. And we think about that young lady we think about Sammy, who's missing. I apologize, you guys, who, was last in her house with water up to the second floor balcony. Now, I don't mean to get too personal with you guys, but also I don't mind doing that if it helps somebody else, and especially if it helps them not feel shame or whatever. But the last thing I want to say about about treatment where you're using medication like Suboxone, methadone, Subutex, just anything like that, Kratom. When we start judging people for those kind of things, I don't know, I just think that it could be really harmful and it could steer people away from something that could save their life. So it's important not to. But, all right, let's keep it pushing.
Son's wedding, jumped into action with just a life vest and a rope. He got into the water and pulled the woman to safety.
I grew up swimming on a swim team. I was a lifeguard. I'm in okay shape, and I just couldn't watch her die. I felt like I needed to do that. It didn't really hit me until I laid down in bed that night and about had a panic attack. But I didn't see another option.
Even though the woman and her husband lost everything in this storm, Hunnell says he wanted to do something. So he invited them as special guests to his son's rehearsal dinner. Oh. I love that. Neighbors helping neighbors, right? Take a look at this in Watauga County. Cleanup efforts are just beginning. The floodwaters have mostly cleared, but the devastation remains. People in the small community of Meek Camp have been cleaning out what areas they can reach. The storm flooded homes and washed away roads and bridges. Now folks there are working to clear enough of the road for emergency and utility crews to get through.
I mean, it's heartbreaking. I mean, it really is. Like, I've been on the edge of just wanting to kind of curl around and cry a little bit because, I mean, it's a lot going on. I mean, there's a lot of people that's been affected by this. Just keep us in our prayers. Just keep praying, and I think we'll get through it then.
People there say it's been a tough few days, but they're getting through it together.
And as those floodwaters recede, we're getting a better look at this.
Okay, so I know Jen, by the way, Bendy had asked me if I wanted to do some kind of panel to do a fundraiser, maybe that will go to the Red Cross or somebody helping with hurricane relief. So I think that we're going to do that. At some point. I don't know when, but we are going to do that at some point. All right. So before we go, let's just chat for a second. First of all, yes, I am ready for that press conference. What is the deal with that? Can somebody tell me? 100 I'm a little lost, but I did see the news. I saw somebody mention it or promote that press conference. Jim says, I tried Kratom. It's a good option, better than risking fentanyl. Oh, let me say, though, if you are going to try Kratom, please be aware. First of all, you have to make sure you get it from a good source. It is a natural plant that grows, in India, China, and that on the other side of the world, right? But the thing is that oftentimes people will mix it with other things. Just find a reliable source. It can have pesticides, harmful chemicals and stuff like that. But one other thing that many people don't know that I learned when I was taking Kratom, because I've also used Kratom to come off Suboxone at times, or just in withdrawal, and also as just at one point, just a couple times a week, I would use it for anxiety. Kratom is really great because it's just simply a dried leaf. It's a cousin of the coffee plant. But the thing is that it can be incredibly toxic to your liver. If you have any kind of situation with your liver, the liver regenerates. But if you're currently going through something like that, be very cautious. because kratom is tough on the liver. I've known people who have taken that who have, had major issues. Ooh, I love the Tillamook cheese and ice cream. It is so good, but I'm seeking treatment. I don't know about for that though. We know judging, shaming, or pushing people to get clean doesn't work. We have to meet them into drugs and the streets. By the time she had stage 4 breast cancer, I miss her and I wish she was here. I'm so sorry. I've also lost a lot of people I loved to drugs. I think even when you live that life for any period of time, you make friends there. And this is just the truth. A lot of people don't get out of it. I think it's really important to talk about, not shame people, talk about recovery, be honest about your journey, because look, there is no fucking hope in that sickness. Ooh, it makes me emotional even thinking about it, but there is no hope. You get stuck in it and you don't think you're getting out. You don't see a way out. You almost come to terms with, I'm stuck here. I'm fucked up. I'm just not normal. I know some people can get off drugs. I'm not one of those people. There is no hope in that disease. There's not. And by having these conversations and getting personal about this stuff, you can give people hope, and that's just the truth. So I'm never going, part of me feels bad when I get on these little tangents, but then I think about it and I'm like, no, fuck no, I'm not going to go back. Because I remember a time when I had accepted that was going to be, and, yeah, it's just the facts. It's just the facts of the situation. Duchess has been posting relief fundraisers. So they have through YouTube where you can do a live and turn your super chat button into a fundraising button where all the money goes straight to that organization. So I've heard that kratom is addictive. It can be. So the withdrawals from kratom are not as intense as hydrocodone. But yeah, it is addictive. And it can also be hard to get off of, and anything like that, right? That you're using to kind of help you get through. Even if it wasn't physically addictive, you can mentally become addicted to it. But kratom, you will have chills. And I mean, I don't think it's anywhere near as intense as Percocets or Oxys or heroin or something like that. But it truly can be. So Malaysia, yeah, that's true. Yeah, I don't know exactly where, but I know over there. Yes, it is rough on the liver. Yep. Okay. Hey, Shay. I struggled with addiction for a little while. I do not talk about it because of shame and guilt, but I do need to start sharing. I think it will make you feel better, Alana, maybe. For me, it did. There was a point in time where I got into an argument with someone on here, and they pulled up pictures of me from my active addiction. And I had the thought to just go delete everything. And then, I just sat with it for a moment and I decided, no, I'm not going to do that. The truth is the truth. It's not pretty. It's not glamorous, but the fact that I survived is really special and important. And I want to, like I said, give people hope that's possible, because I truly had gotten to the point where I was hopeless. Yeah. So, oh, no, you don't need to be embarrassed. You need to be proud. I'm proud. Everybody has their thing, their struggles. They might look different. It might be with different things. It might be, you know, whatever. They're going to be a variety of struggles, but we all have them. And we shouldn't be ashamed of having them at all. And if we got through them, we need to be proud and loud, in my opinion. So that's the thing, Riley. It's really hard because there's really just nothing you can do except for like be honest and offer them help and support if they want to change. But you just can't force somebody out of it. So, all right, you guys, I'm going to let you go. Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining me to talk about all of these things, variety of things, from true crime to the weather, which is still important because there's missing people out there, to addiction and everything in between. You guys mean a lot to me, and I just appreciate you so much. Oh, Elena, I'm so proud of you. Elena, that's awesome. Oh, thank you, Wicked West. Thank all you guys. I appreciate you. Hugs to you, Deets. Yeah, I love and appreciate you guys. I hope you have a lovely day. Thank you to the mods. Thank you to the chat. Wolfie. I will see you guys tomorrow or sometime soon. I want to go through the emails with Stephen Stern's emails that have been released. I just didn't want to do like back to back talking about one case. I do believe that part of my little mission here is to do this and talk about all the things that don't get talked about enough. So the journey of recovery is very rough. Drugs, alcohol, no matter what kind of addiction you have, and to fight to be sober, in my opinion, is pure strength. It absolutely is, Claus. It really is. All right. Have a lovely day. Solo Angel Mom, I'm going to grab your picture and I'm going to email you about that. I'll email you back. And we'll talk about that at a later date. And yeah, I just appreciate you guys. Thank you. I know it's tough conversations to have. And I also know it's not really the most like the thing that really people want to talk about so much. A lot of these things we talked about. So you guys being here really means so much to me. And yeah, I hope you have a great day. I'll talk to you soon. Again, I will go on and on and on and on and on if you let me. So I'm just going to hit end. Thank you again for everything. I will see you soon. And yeah, bye.